and gentlemen, in today's video, I will be giving you my thoughts on who I think every NFL team's most overrated player is. Now, I'm doing this because you guys asked for it, and I said if my last video hit 4,000 likes, I would, and it did, so here we are. Keep in mind, once again, if someone's overrated, it doesn't mean they're a bad player. And two, there are several teams I had to scratch and claw and try and find a reason to call someone overrated because I didn't really think anybody was. In other words, try and have fun, relax. Also, I'm basing this off of this last year's roster, so if some of these guys are gonna be free agents, well, it is what it is. Couple of plugs as always though, don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel or Prize Picks where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. Make sure to take advantage of the Pat Mahomes free square this Sunday. All he needs is 1 yard. But always play responsibly, and let's get into the video. Alright guys, so the way I have this set up today will be on a tier list just to give us a random order. However, I'm gonna try and still throw graphics up and whatnot like I have been doing recently. So our first team is the Saints, and we actually just talked about this, so it's gonna be pretty simple. Derek Carr, I think he completely sucks. I think he's a box score quarterback. I think his numbers look decent enough for him to keep getting opportunities, but anytime you put that man in a critical or important situation, he is going to fuck up in the biggest way possible. Next up, we got the Dolphins, and a lot of people probably know who I'm gonna say on this one. I actually don't think any of their players are overrated. I respect the Dolphins roster, but I don't respect their coach. I think Mike McDaniel is extremely overrated. I think he sucks. You've had 2 second half season meltdowns, and every time you get to the playoffs, you get your ass kicked. Baltimore. This one is purely contract related. Odell Beckham Jr. And I love Odell. His jersey's on the wall signed. I don't know if it's still in view. No, it's not, but it's there. It's there. But are we gonna act like 560 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns is worth $15 million? I know he's a free agent now, but I'm just saying this last year, like, it's gotta be someone, it's him. That'll bring us to the Bengals, and I landed with Joe Mixon on this one because I think his fantasy value carries into the NFL a little bit too much. What I mean by that is, again, he's not bad, but in fantasy football, he'll throw up, 14 or 15 points in a week, which looks great, but then you look at his actual box score and you'll see that he had 14 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown and then 3 receptions for 20 yards. And it's like, okay, is that really that good? And that'll bring us to the Broncos, where we got another coach, Sean Payton. I do firmly believe he is overrated now. I think he coaches like he's a high school coach. He plays his favorite players. It's his way or the highway, and if you criticize him, well, you better have a spit shield handy because he's gonna be screaming at you across the room. He's a dirty coach who won a Super Bowl with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Now we got the Giants, and it's Daniel Jones easily. I've never seen such an overreaction from a front office from somebody who won a playoff game and threw 15 total touchdowns in a season. Up next, we got the Vikings and KJ Osborne. Okay, I'm from Minnesota, right? I love the Vikings. I love the Vikings fans, but I do gotta say, Viking fans tend to be just the most, I'm gonna support anybody who's on my team to the fullest extent as long as they're here. And even if they're terrible, they will never admit it. Guys like Alexander Madison and KJ Osborne are perfect examples. KJ Osborne reminded me so much of Nelson Aguilar, man. There's certain days where he'll come down with anything thrown at him, and then there's certain days where he'll just drop balls blatantly hitting him in the hand. He is not reliable, and I hate hearing his name mentioned in our offense with Jefferson and Addison as if he's some sort of a threat. Now we got the Rams. Cooper Kupp, and again, he's still good, but people are talking like he's still in the top 5 conversation when that's not fair at all. Yes, he had an outstanding year in 2021. I still think he has an elite skill set, but he hasn't played more than 12 games in 2 years. And this year, if you even look at the guy's catch percentage, it dropped from like 75 to 62. He's just not the same anymore. Now we got the Bucks, Todd Bowles here. I'm saying that because he's a defensive guy, and their defense was still horrible this year. I think a lot of their success actually came from Canales fixing Baker. And after they got to the playoffs and won a couple games, the front office just kind of looked the other way, and they think that Todd's fine, and I still don't think so. Moving on, we got the Lions, and hear me out on this one, please, Detroit. David Montgomery, and I love him. He's a good running back, but I cannot stand it when I'm hearing people treating him as like an equal to Jahmyr Gibbs. David had like 40 more carries and finished with like 80 more rushing yards and 3 more touchdowns than Jahmyr Gibbs. 40 carries? That is 40 less opportunities you guys got to see the beast you already know as Jahmyr Gibbs. Trust me. David's good, but he is not even close to Gibbs. Moving on, we got the Bears, and for me, it's Justin Fields. For one, you got guys like CJ Stroud who have him in their top 5, which is asinine. And two, dude, it's the constant with the Bears fans where Fields will have a good game and they'll literally try and act like he's Brady, only for him to go out there and absolutely blow it the next. I don't think he's bad. I think he's getting better. I think the Bears should keep him, but he has stuff to work on still, man, a lot. 49ers, and I'm not gonna say Purdy, shockingly. I'm gonna say Debo, and I think Debo is tremendous. But again, it's people acting like someone who goes out there and catches 800 yards a year is better than those who are throwing up 15, 16, 1700 yards. Like, the point of a receiver is to catch the ball, and not that he doesn't. But he doesn't do it at the volume of a considerable amount of people. Now we got the Eagles. As much as I love him, Jalen Hurts. He was in the MVP conversation for a lot of the year, and he was incredibly average. That'll bring us to the Raiders, Josh Jacobs. Because exactly what I thought was gonna happen with him, happened with him. He had a tremendous year 2 seasons ago. He held out for all the money. People went crazy talking him up like he was gonna do it again, and he shit the bed. He finished 25th in rushing yards. Now we got Green Bay. I'm gonna go the easy route here and say Christian Watson. I wanted to say Jair, but his playoff performance kind of shut me up. However, Watson I can still bark about because the fans still bark about him and he still has done nothing, but I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, moving on, we got the Commies and Dan Quinn. He shouldn't be the head coach. It's stupid. What the fuck? What about that game versus Green Bay told them that, hey, this is our guy? Moving on, we got the Cardinals, and this year, sadly, as much as I like this guy too, Buda Baker. Like, dude, he made the Pro Bowl and he didn't do jack shit. He only played like 12 games. And I know justice was served when Antoine Winfield got an All-Pro, but like, he didn't even make the Pro Bowl over Buda. Like, hello? Now we got the Steelers, Kenny Pickett, and as much as I wanted him to turn it around last year, he didn't. And how many chances are we gonna give the guy? And it goes beyond, you know, his O-line not giving him enough time or whatever. The guy just doesn't look that good. He doesn't make that good of throws. Occasionally he will, but it will follow up by 10 duds. Like, I just think it might be time to swallow the bullet. That'll bring us to Buffalo. Where do I start? Von Miller's horrible, but he's being paid like he's one of the best players in the league. Trey White hasn't been good for years. Gabe Davis has been overrated ever since the playoff game like 3 seasons ago. DeMar Hamlin's never been good. I'm not afraid to shit on my own guys. Now we got the Falcons. This one kind of stinks, but I had to go with Jonnu Smith, and I don't think he's bad either, but some people do believe that he's better than Kyle Pitts, and it's not the case at all. I sound like a broken record, but you don't understand. Like, that team was literally sabotaged. Now we got Seattle, and I still think Jamal Adams. I still hear about him as if he's supposed to be a threat. The fucker doesn't play. He hasn't played a full season since 2018. Patriots, this one's lame as hell, but I guess Juju Smith-Schuster, there's nobody to beat on that team. And Juju, they did bring there thinking he was gonna make a change, and he ended up being lousy as hell. Cleveland, easy, Deshaun Watson. You guys are paying him like he should be Patrick Mahomes, and you're getting the performance of Daniel Jones, who just had a bad nightmare. Houston, Robert Woods. Do I actually think he's overrated? No. But someone's got to take one for the team, and Robert Woods has been getting the shit end of the stick his entire career, so he's got to take it again. I don't think anyone there is overrated. As a matter of fact, I love that team. I love that organization, and I love Robert. Now we got the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes, easily carried by an elite receiving core, potentially the best. If you gave me MVS, Kadarius Toney, McCole Hardman, it would be hard to not win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And that'll bring us to Dallas. Oh, I'm gonna get ripped to shreds for this one, but you gotta hear me out again. I love Dallas. I support them. I shouldn't like them as much as I do, but I gotta say one guy is overrated and give a reason. I will say it's Darren Bland, and I think he is elite, but they tend to act like he's the perfect corner down there when he does have a little bit of the Trayvon Diggs syndrome, you know, really sticky fingers, elite electric playmaking ability. There are certain games where you put him in one-on-one coverage and he is gonna get fucking destroyed, and it looks like he gives up halfway through the game when that happens. And yes, I'm mainly just thinking of that horrible game versus Seattle he had. All right, and now we got the final stretch, starting with the Chargers. This one sucks, but Joey Bosa as of now. Again, I still think he's very good, but Charger fans are acting as if this guy has started more than 9 games in the last 2 seasons combined. He can't be in conversations with guys like Max Crosby or Myles Garrett or Nick Bosa, even his own brother. Like, he doesn't fucking play. Now we got the Jets, Sauce Gardner. Oh, he's a good player, but he is not as good as it seems, and I'm saying that with the most confidence. This guy holds a ton, and he doesn't get fucking thrown at. Yeah, I already know. The first excuse from Jet fans. Well, he's so good. That's why nobody's throwing at him. Dude, he had 55 targets this year. Stephon Gilmore had like 90, and he allowed the same completion percentage. Now we got the Panthers. It'd be either Miles Sanders or Chuba Hubbard for me. Miles Sanders for contract reasons. Chuba Hubbard because I just think he is absolutely egregious. I think he is awful. There's always a fan that comments when I shit on him too. The same fan who loves Chuba Hubbard. He might be Chuba Hubbard. Now we got the Titans, and that's D-Hop. Dude, their fans still act like this guy's a top 5 receiver receiver in the league. He's old as dirt, and every time he doesn't catch a ball, he cries to the refs. If he would have gotten 57 less receiving yards this year, he said he was going to retire. He said he had to break 1,000 to keep going. Now we got the Colts, and it's EJ Speed, because his last name is Speed, and he's not the fastest guy on the team. Therefore, he's an overrated fraud. And ending, we got the Jags, and it's a toss-up between Ridley or Trevor. I mean, as far as it goes for me overrating people, those are my two most overrated guys I think this entire season. I thought they were going to be an MVP duo, and it turns out that they were a scoop of vanilla ice cream with one sprinkle on it. That is it. Neither of them are bad players, but neither of them were gods like I anticipated. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is who I think every team's most overrated player is. Really hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is where I'm going to cut it for the day. She'll show any support if I didn't make you guys too mad. And also stay tuned for tomorrow's video where both me and my dad are going to give our Super Bowl predictions. Anyway, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Have a great rest of your week. And as always, I will see you in the next video.